Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? So, welcome to this live stream. Whatever point you join this video or this live stream, you might join me shortly, or you might be watching it back on replay. Then it is great to have you here with me today. So my name is Angela and this is my channel, Time Out with Angela. So what do we do here? So on this channel, I invite you to spend a little time out with me as every day that you want. We focus in on health and wellness. I've been on a journey, and this journey has helped me to improve my health. And as a result, I've lost 114 pounds. No, sorry, 115 pounds. So what we do here is I share my tips and my hacks that has helped me to improve my health and to lose weight in a sustainable way. I don't go for those quick fixes, but I go for healthy habits that has helped me to lose the weight and keep it off over the past 5 years. I'm not at my goal yet, so I'm still working towards that. I've got about another 26 pounds to go before I reach my goal. So I share all my hacks and my strategies, all my tips that I've learned along the way in that regard. And everything related to that. So I cook, I share some favourite recipes, I talk about food that has supported and helped me on the journey. We look at shopping. I love shopping. I do shopping hauls, not just for food, but also for clothes and household things. What else do we do? In the summer, I'm going to do a little bit of gardening. And just general chit chat, all sorts of chit chat that we do here on the channel. So if that is the sort of thing that you are interested in, then I would love for you to be part of my channel. So feel free to come and join me. So I should also just mention that I am losing my weight and on the Weight Watchers plan as well. So just so that you know that background. Okay, so today I'm going to continue with part 2 of my Q&A. So a couple of months ago, I put out in my Facebook group asking for any questions that you wanted to know in regard to my health, weight loss and wellness journey. And I have been inundated with loads and loads and loads of questions. I started it yesterday, and so do have a little look at the questions that I answered in part 1. So you will see that as a live from yesterday. And today, which is today's Wednesday, the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. I am going to do part 2. Now, I have had a couple more questions come in since yesterday, so I'll see how we go, but this might turn into a part 3. So we'll see. So if you do have any questions that you want me to answer in regards to my health, wellness and weight loss journey, then pop it in the chat and I will add it to my list. Or what you could do is send me a message on my Facebook group. So I'll tell you the names of those. My Facebook group is Time Out with Angela in brackets group, and that is the group. I also have a page called Time Out with Angela, and that's my page. And so those are on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram, also at Time Out with Angela. So feel free to join me over there, join my community, and if you have any questions you want me to answer, then just send me a message and I will answer them for you. So I'm going to pick up now on the questions that I have remaining, and there is a lot. So that's why I say it might be a part 3, or even a part 4, because these questions that I've had in are absolutely fantastic. I've written the questions down as they've come in. Some of them have are repeats. So where it's a repeat of just, I'm not obviously going to repeat it. I'm just going to bundle it all together. And some questions I've already answered in recent videos, but I will answer them again here for you today. So, okay, if you see me looking down, that's because I've got them all written down on me in my notebook here. Okay, so following on from yesterday, my next question is, when did I start fasting? And how do I cope with the hunger? So, great question. So, I came across I'd always known about intermittent fasting, because having a son, and at the time I first heard about it, he was like 18, 19, he was in uni, and it was very, very popular then. He was also working out in the gym, and it was something in that gym community. But I first came across it personally back in, oh goodness me, it must have been about 15 years ago. And I was, if you know my story, I suffer with a number of health conditions, and I'd gone to see my lupus consultant. And my lupus consultant was looking after my lupus condition, but also every time I went, I was just constantly reminded that I was overweight. And this one day, the consultant said, have you tried intermittent fasting? And I was like, no, I have heard of it, but don't really know much about it. She said, I can highly recommend it. And she had told me her story, that since I'd seen her last, she'd lost over 2 stone, 2.5 stone, something like that. And she had done it via intermittent fasting. And so I said, well, what is this? What is it? So she told me basically the principles of it, and recommended that I do some research via Dr. Jason Fung, who was almost like the godfather of modern day fasting. So, but she highly recommended it. She said, you know, this can really make the difference for you to losing weight. So I went away, did a bit of research, spoke to my son about it. My son was like, yeah, Mom, it's brilliant. And he at the time was also doing it. So I did some research and I tried it. But at the time, I had so much going on in my life with my health. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to really give it a good go. So it fell off the bandwagon. Anyway, more recently, where are we now? So it was in 2023, around the summer, I thought I'm going to revisit it again, because I started listening into some podcasts, the Zoe podcasts. I was listening to the Doctor's Kitchen, various podcasts, Mindy Peltz, and they were all talking about intermittent fasting for 2 reasons. They were talking about intermittent fasting for weight loss, but what I was really interested in was intermittent fasting for health, because being a diabetic and having health problems, I really wanted to get my health back on track. So started really listening in to what they were saying, researched Dr. Jason Fung, became a bit obsessive listening to him, and really understanding how intermittent fasting works. And then I started to think, you know what? It makes absolute sense. It makes sense, because in our modern community, we have access to food all the time. Food is so prevalent. Here in the UK, in the modern world, we never go hungry. Never. There is just so much food, an abundance of food. But back in my grandparents' day, that's only 2 generations ago, back in the Caribbean, it wasn't always like that. Food was hard to come by. And so their lifestyles were very different. And I think of my grandmother who would grow her own food and she would cook it, but she was also walking for miles and miles every day. And she was thin. She was always really very, very, very slim. And my aunt, very, very slim. My mother, up until she came to this country, again, very, very slim, because of their lifestyle and access to food. And then, you know, here in this country, we don't know what hunger is. We just don't know what that is, you know. And I say that generally. There are some people who are hungry, lack of resources, lack of food. But generally, we don't have a lack of access to food. There is an abundance of food. But if you go back further, you know, and Dr. Jason Fung, he goes right back to man's early existence. There was periods of famine and periods of feasting. And that is the natural cycle. People would feast and then they would go into famine. They didn't have food. And that's how our bodies have developed. But what's happened in our modern day, we just have so much access to food. The concept of not eating, we can't fathom that. We can't understand that. And then there's all these theories that if we don't eat, you know, we're going to get sick and all of this. And, you know, and I hear those arguments and I think, well, when you watch these programs where people are in the Big Brother house or they're in the jungle and they don't eat food for days, they still survive. They still survive. And what happens is they come out of the jungle, they lose a lot of weight. So I was just really interested in the science behind it and started exploring that and thought, okay, I know what Dr. Jason Fung was saying is that there is a healthy way to fast, and fasting is not for everybody. It is absolutely not. There are some people for who fasting isn't recommended. But when I started looking at the science of it, I just thought to me, it just makes sense. My body wasn't meant to be grazing on food every single day, several times a day. And that was what was keeping me sick, because I was just grazing on food. So I decided to do a lot more research into it and started exploring it and started to try it. And at first I started to push back the time that I ate. So I would just push it back half an hour at a time, little bit at a little bit. But then the time that I finished eating at the end of the day, I would also push that back until I got a happy balance for me. So now I typically start to eat around 11:30 and finish eating at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at the absolute latest. And that works for me. And then what happens, it allows my body to rest. It allows my body to digest the food. It allows my body to use the energy up that it's stored. And yeah, and since I've been doing that, I feel so much better. I have my energy levels so much better. My bloating has gone. I've seen so much benefit. So if anybody is interested in intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, there's all sorts of names for it. Do check it out. Do your own research and check it out. But also the other thing is fasting is not new at all. Sometimes in the community, it's almost like it's something new. Fasting isn't new at all. You know, if you go back to whether you believe the Bible or not, if you look at the Bible, you know, Jesus fasted. His disciples fasted. A lot of the prophets fasted. In lots of different religions back in the day, but also modern day fasting. Fasting is part of their culture. In different communities, fasting is part of what they do. So fasting isn't anything new at all. So yeah, you know, I really enjoy a fasting lifestyle. Because of the benefits that I've seen. So I started fasting. I know this is a long-winded answer, but I started fasting and taking it really seriously. I think it was from about August, summer last year. And the other part of the question was, how do I deal with the hunger? How do I cope with the hunger? I don't have hunger. Now I don't have hunger, but back in the day when I was pushing back my eating window, so if I started eating at 9 and my body was expecting food at 9 o'clock, that started to get tough. So what I did was just pushing it back. So I was like, okay, normally I have my food at 9, I'm going to have it at 9:15. And then the next day, 9:30. And then the next day, I'm going to push it back to 10 o'clock. And I might do that for a week or so. And then the next day, push it back to 10:30. And then do that for a week and then push it back to 11. So constantly just that step change. But to go from 9 o'clock, where I have my breakfast, to now my first meal of the day being 11 or 12 o'clock, that would be very hard. So I just did it in a stepped approach. But also my eating windows at night, you know, pushing it back just a little bit from 8 o'clock to 7:30 to 7 o'clock, just pushing it back that way. So that allows my body just to get used to the change. And if I do feel a little bit of hunger, I just drink water. I just drink the fluids. I've got my water with a bit of squash today. I would just drink a little bit of that. But it was more up here. It was more up here and dealing with that mindset and thinking that I was hungry, but it wasn't hunger. And the way that I saw it was my body has got a lot of food stored, a lot of food stored in the form of fat. So I was not going to go hungry. My body was not going to starve. My body would go to the reserves, the stored reserves, and use that as energy. And that's when you see a lot of weight loss, is when you're still fueling and nourishing your body, but now when your body is needing that energy at 9 in the morning or 8 at night, instead of taking the energy from the food that you've now just eaten, it's taking the energy from your fat reserves and you're burning that up. And that's when you see weight loss. So initially I did it not for weight loss. I did it because I wanted to improve my health. And as a type 2 diabetic and as someone with health conditions, that was recommended for me. And as I said, I'm not endorsing this. You need to speak to your medical practitioner if you do want to change your eating pattern or your eating lifestyle. But it was recommended for me. And at the time that it was right for me, worked beautifully. So that has really, really supported me. And sometimes even if I don't see much loss on the scale when I have that weekly weigh-in, I've noticed a huge difference in my body. And this past month, my back fat just seems to have like melted. My back fat seems to have gone. I've lost a lot of back fat. And I think, again, that is because my body is using the stored energy that it has. So I don't feel hungry at all. But when I started to do it, to practice intermittent fasting, if I did feel hungry outside of my eating windows, I would just drink plenty of water. And there are some days that I do need to be flexible. And I do need to eat a little bit earlier or a little bit later than my eating window. And that's absolutely fine. You know, I'll make it work for me. So there you go. That's a long answer, but I hope you found that of interest about to answer that question, intermittent fasting. So I'm going to just tick that one off my list, so I know I've done that. Okay, next question. How do I keep motivated? So again, really good question. It is something that I've recently covered in a live, so you will find a more detailed answer in the live video, all about motivation. But the short answer is I don't rely on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes, it goes. You know, I could get up one morning and think, right, I'm really motivated to get to the gym. But by the time I put my foot out the bed, motivation's gone. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. So I don't rely on motivation, don't rely on willpower either. Those things are fleeting. What I rely on is commitment. I'm committed to me. I'm committed to my health. I'm committed to my journey. I'm committed to living a long, happy and healthy lifestyle. So that's what I go on. And then I get consistent. So I think about it as, you know, picking up your child from school. Nobody's ever motivated to leave off from what they're doing and go out in the rain to walk to the school to pick their child up. Nobody's motivated to do that. Most people are not motivated to get out of bed in the depth of the winter, in the cold, in the dark, and go to work. Nobody's motivated to that, but we're committed. We're committed to that. We're committed to our children, and come hell or high water, we're going to go and pick them up at school. We're not going to leave them standing. We're committed. And most people are committed to going to work and earning a living so they can have that lifestyle. We're not motivated to get up and go to work. Well, some people, but no, I'm not, but I'm committed to my job, committed to my employer, committed to, I want to earn that income so I can have that lifestyle. The same with my pets, I'm committed to them. So I'm going to make sure that they have what they need. So it's like that with my journey. I'm committed to me. I'm committed to my health. I'm committed to my wellness. I'm committed to improving my health and getting well. And then I come in with those consistent actions. So yeah, I don't rely on motivation or willpower or any of those things they are flimsy, and it doesn't get you far. Motivation and willpower can get you started. Yeah, so let's not underestimate the power that it can get you started, but it's not going to get you very far. Oh, hi, Jackie. Great to have you with me today, my lovely. Yeah, so there you go, guys. That's the answer to that question. How do I keep motivated? I don't. I am committed to me and my health and my journey, and then I follow through with actions and habits, and I'm consistent in building those habits, because motivation and willpower fleeting. And do you know what? Another example is, even with my YouTube and doing these lives, and some days I'm like, oh, do you know what? I just want to curl up on the sofa, watch TV, get under my electric blanket. That's what I want to do. But no, I'm committed. I'm committed to you guys, my followers. I'm committed to the channel. I'm committed to growing. So I show up. I turn up. Even like sometimes, I'm only able to do like 15 or 20 minutes because my day is so busy, but I show up committed. So yeah, that's what I work on my journey. Okay, next question. I've got a long list of fabulous questions that has come in. Oh, you needed to hear that, Jackie. I hope that helps you, my lovely. Hope that helps you. But do check out, I do have a video on the channel. I did a live and it's all about motivation. So look out for that. And in there, I explain, it's the one where I use the elastic band to demonstrate commitment and motivation. It's that one. So have a little look out for that. That might help you, my lovely. Okay. So next question. How long did it take me to lose my weight? So I rejoined Weight Watchers for the last time on the 8th of January 2019. And as of today, the 14th of February 2024, I've lost 115 pounds, 8 stone, 2 pounds. Now, that number may sound impressive, which it is, and I'm delighted with it. But whenever I say that in my community, I always bring it back down to earth and say that that works out at less than £0.5 a week. Less than £0.5 a week over 5 years. And I see people losing that amount, 115 pounds in a year. And I'm like, I'm so pleased for them. I'm really happy for them. I've seen some people lose that in a year and a half or 2 years. Fantastic. But for me, 5 years. 5 years, less than £0.5 a week. And there's a number of things. In fact, there's a lovely, lovely, lovely lady that I follow on YouTube, and I was watching her last night, and she lost 120 pounds in a year. 120 pounds. That's about 9 stone. About 9 stone. And when I was watching her yesterday, she gives some absolutely fantastic tips. But then when I looked at that, I was like, do you know what? She's less than half my age. She's a really young woman, lovely, lovely young woman. She's a young woman. She's a young mum. And I'm like, knocking 60. We have very different lifestyles. She's very, she does weightlifting, completely different physique, completely different lifestyle. I'm sure different genetics as well. And I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I'm knocking 60. I've got poor health, lots of health challenges. I'm not very physically active. Yeah, completely different. And that just was a really great reminder for me that we can't ever compare ourselves. We can't ever do that. So when I listen to her, some of the tips that she shares, I'm like, actually, that works for you and maybe some people in your community, but that would never work for me. It wouldn't work for me as an older person, wouldn't work, not sustainable. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. We can't compare ourselves. Comparison is the thief of joy. So, we celebrate and we're happy for people at whatever stage of the journey they are. But yeah, for me, my journey has been definitely the tortoise, definitely less than £0.5 a week. But I am so grateful that I stuck with it. I didn't give up when it was slow. And sometimes there is that temptation to think, do you know what, this journey is going too slow. So I'm going to give up and I'm going to do something else. But I'm like, if I did something else, it would be just as slow. As they say, the grass is always greener on the other side until you've got to cut it. It always looks better on the other side, but the reality is it isn't. So yeah, I am so happy that I committed to me and my health and my journey. And and I was consistent in building those plans, and I didn't rely on motivational willpower. I was committed to me. So yeah, less than £0.5 a week. is how I've got to 8 stone, 2 pounds, 115 pounds off. So yeah, so at whatever pace you are going, just keep going. Keep going. The other side might look better, but it isn't. It isn't. Just keep going. No matter how slow it is, don't focus on the numbers on the scale. Just focus on the bigger picture, but just keep going. Okay. So next question. Oh, this is a really great question. Great question. How have you managed to reduce your portions? Brilliant question. Because if you have ever listened to any of my lives, you know that a key factor for me on my weight loss journey has been reducing my portions. So let's go right back to the beginning. When I rejoined Weight Watchers, I loved my food, and today I still love my food. My food for love, my love for food rather, has always been a constant feature for me. But I had to make a mindset shift, because when I joined Weight Watchers, I loved big portions, loved a big portion. And then when I joined Weight Watchers, the rhetoric was, eat till you are satisfied. And I misunderstood, and I'm going to say misunderstood. I misunderstood that as eat till you are full. And there is a difference, a subtle difference, but there is a difference. When Weight Watchers said eat till you are satisfied, I didn't fully understand that. And I was eating till I was full. So what does that mean? Eating till I was full was a habit that I had since I was a kid. And I would eat till my belly was bursting. I would eat until I threw myself back. My belly was full. I had to undo my buttons. And I was thinking, how the hell am I going to get off this chair? That was eating till I was full. And then still reaching and eating a little bit more. Even with those zero pointed foods, those low pointed foods, I was eating till I was full. Hi, Horatio. Thanks for joining me today. So that's how I was eating. I was eating till I was full, eating till my belly was about to burst, even on those low pointed foods, even staying within my daily points. Because I misunderstood what Weight Watchers was saying. Weight Watchers was saying, eat till you are satisfied. But I was misunderstanding that and eating till my belly was bursting and then eating some more. Why? Because I could. Because I still had points left over. And after all, it's all zero pointed foods. Eating that zero pointed yogurt, the zero pointed fish, and the chicken and those veggies, eating till I was bursting. And then when I understood the difference, eating till you were satisfied, that changed everything for me. So eating till I'm satisfied, I had to understand what that meant. And eating till I was satisfied was about being able to taste my food. Was able to, it's like I said the other week on the live, that when my cat was poorly and I took my cat to the vet and I was really feeling a bit upset and a bit down, and I went to the chippy and I bought myself a steak and kidney pie, and for the first time ever I noticed the flavour of that steak and kidney pie. I noticed the flavour and noticed that it's peppery, It's got peppery flavour. And when I ate that pie, I couldn't even finish the pie. I was satisfied. Didn't need anything else. I was satisfied. Learning to taste my food, learning to taste and recognise and enjoy those flavours. Learning to eat mindfully. And when I started to do that, everything changed for me on the journey. And that is when I had my epiphany back in August. And that's when the bulk of the weight started coming off, because I was no longer eating till I was full. I was now eating till I was satisfied. And satisfaction for me meant having a really small amount of food, but tasting it, enjoying it, looking at it, and smelling those fragrances, thinking about where it's come from, how it's made, who's made it, putting it together, and eating it really slowly, really mindfully, and then listening out to those cues, listening to when my belly was saying, actually, you're full. And when I started doing that, and, you know, I'm not for 1 second trying to say that it happened overnight. It didn't. It was a work in progress. And when I started to do that, I start to notice, actually, I feel satisfied. And I haven't even eaten half my food on the plate. So when I started to tune into that, I was able then to reduce my portions, because I hate waste. So I started to reduce the portions. And as I started to reduce the portions, was able to eat a lot less, because now I was eating till I was satisfied rather than eating till I was full. And when that penny dropped for me, it changed. And, you know, it was a misunderstanding on my part. Because Weight Watchers always promoted eat till you were satisfied. But I misunderstood that as eat till you're full. Subtle, but an important difference. So that's how I was able to reduce my portions, by tuning in to my stomach and looking out for those signals, learning to taste my food, to smell my food, to appreciate my food on the plate, and eating really slowly. And, you know, whenever I go out to eat, when I place my order, I always ask for a takeout box, because I know that 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be taking food home. And, you know, when I'm with my family and my friends, they're like, oh, is everything all right? Why are you eating so slow? And I'm like, this is the way I eat now. Really eating slowly, just really savouring my food. I have no need now, like I did back in the day, to wolf it all down. And then, because I'd wolfed it all down, it hadn't even like hit the sides of my mouth. I'd finished it and I was still looking for more food. And that made me eat more. And that kept me in this continual cycle of feeling full, feeling uncomfortable, not being able to reduce my portions. But once I started to do that, now my portions are small. And, you know, if you've seen me before, you know, my philosophy is the size of your hand. Size of the hand is the portion size that we should have. Our entire meal should be no bigger than the size of our hand. And that's what I work to. When I put my food on my plate, I just have a little visual. And if my plate is stacked like that, up like that, forget it. That's to feed a family of 10. You know, I will literally just eat the portion of my hand, but I've practiced it so much now that when I now hear my body say, "You've had enough. Slow down, slow down," or "That's enough," and I put my cutlery down. Job done. So yeah, but it takes time. This was a habit that I had learned for 52 years, eating till I was full. It doesn't just change overnight. And I'm still working on it. I've been working on it now for coming up to 2 years now, because the first 3 years in Weight Watchers, I'd misunderstood the message. So yeah. So there you go. That is that question, which was how do you manage to reduce those portions? So I hope that answers that for you. Next question, guys. So if you've just joined me, hello, thank you so much for being here with me. This is part 2 of my Q&A. So a couple of weeks ago, well, I think it was late last year, I put out a post on my Facebook group, and I asked that if anybody had any questions they would like me to answer in the Q&A, send them to me and I would be more than happy to answer them. Well, they flooded in. They absolutely flooded in. So I've got like my notebook, I've got pages and pages of questions, fantastic questions. I've written the questions down as they have come in, and I'm just answering them at random in no particular, well, I say no particular order, just as I've written them down. So they're not grouped. Some questions were very similar, so I've just pulled those together, so I'm not duplicating them. But yeah, I'm just going through and answering those. So I did a part 1 yesterday. Do check that live out. This is part 2 today. And I think there's definitely going to be a part 3, because I've got absolutely loads of fabulous questions. But if you have any questions that you want me to answer, either pop them in the chat here or send them to me either via Facebook or Instagram, and I will add them to my list. So we might be looking at a part 4, yeah, or in the 5. But yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so my next question is, has my health improved after losing weight? Absolutely yes, but not 100%. So my health conditions was lupus SLE, which affects my heart and my lungs. I'm type 2 diabetic, and I suffer with arthritis. And arthritis, for those of you in the know, is an umbrella term for lots of conditions. So, and then I have suffered with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and a few other minor conditions such as dry eyes, things like that. So, the biggest difference that I have seen to my health is the control of my type 2 diabetes, which is really significant because type 2 diabetes will take you out. I know many people who have been taken out by type 2 diabetes. They've lost their sight, they've lost their limbs, they've died of the condition, died of complications of it. So yeah, very, very serious. And losing weight has definitely made that difference. However, if anybody's diabetic, you know that it's not like your blood sugars have fallen and that's it. Let's have a jolly. No, it is continuous work in progress. So I've lost the bulk of that weight. My doctors tell me everything's ticking over nicely in terms of my anatomy, in terms of all my blood work. Everything is good. Cholesterol's good. All of those measures are really, really good. But I still have to monitor those. I still have to keep working on those. And I still have to keep a check on the type 2 diabetes because it's a work in progress. So that's definitely the biggest thing. My arthritis whilst losing weight has definitely taken pressure off my joints, the arthritis is in my joints. So, for example, it's in my hands, it's in my feet, it's in my hips and my backs. It's like it's got in there, it's in there. So losing weight has alleviated that pressure, but that's never going to make the disease disappear, never. But it's helped. It has helped where it can in terms of the joints. It's so yeah, in that respect, it's absolutely helped me. But most of all, it's helped me to feel good about myself when I'm able to. It's helped me to be able to move better. And I'm sleeping so much better now. I think because of losing the weight. Oh, sleep apnea. I had been diagnosed with sleep apnea as well. And I had a CPAP machine, completely off that now. Don't need that anymore because my health has improved so much. Because with sleep apnea, I had a lot of fatty tissue in my neck and that was restricting my breathing. That's all gone now. All of that's gone. So I can actually see my neck now. I can see my neck. So that has definitely made, losing the weight has definitely made a difference. But as I say, it's a continual work in progress. I've got to keep those healthy habits up. I've got to continue losing my weight to get to my goal, but also then maintain that weight. And live that healthy lifestyle so that my health can continue to improve. Yeah, because my goal is I'm going to live to 200. That's the goal. That's where I want to be. Yeah. So there you go. That, hope that answers that question. So next question. Do you eat out a lot or have takeaways? And if so, how do you manage this? Great question. Honestly, I've had some fantastic questions come in. So I enjoy eating out. And I love to eat out with my friends and my family. Takeaways, other than that chip shop pie that I had the other day, I can't remember the last time I had a takeaway. Gone are the days I used to like Friday nights, Saturday nights, sometimes even Sunday nights. We used to phone for a Chinese or big old one of these huge, massive pizzas. Can't remember the last time I did that, to be honest. Goodness me, must be about 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't have takeaways often. And I think because they're so expensive as well. Yeah, they're so expensive. But I do enjoy eating out. So I love going out. The Harvester is probably my favourite because they have a fabulous salad bar and they do the best rotisserie chicken. I do enjoy Nando's. And yeah, just like trying different places, different restaurants. So how do I manage eating out? Quite simply, I just enjoy it. I'm not on a diet. For me, this is a healthy eating lifestyle, living a healthy lifestyle. So I go out, get all dressed up to the nines, look forward to it. And I just go and order the best choice possible for me. Usually it'll be something like chicken or fish. And then I will thoroughly enjoy it. I don't sit there worrying about points because that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I make my order and I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't tend to have, so some places we go, I know that their main courses are ginormous and can feed a family of 5. So in those places, I tend to order off the starter menu So it'll be something smaller. Or sometimes I will order off the main. Like if I go to the harvester, I always dive into the salad because I love their salads. And I have the sauces as well. I love their blue cheese sauce. It's just like really good, healthy portion of that. And I do have the bread and the butter. Thoroughly enjoy that. And then I usually order something like the chicken. And then at that point, I ask for my takeout box because I know half of it's coming home with me. And typically, I don't have a dessert. I might have one very occasionally if somewhere that I go has a really nice brownie with ice cream, I'll have that. But typically, I don't do desserts. And so on most occasions that I go out, it'll either be a starter or the main. It's very unusual for me to have 2 courses or 3 courses. Yeah, very, very unusual. But I will always enjoy it, and I enjoy it without any guilt because I know that this is part of my lifestyle. I'm enjoying that, and making that choice is healthy because it's healthy for my mindset. What wouldn't be healthy for my mindset is sitting there thinking, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that. That's too many points. That's covered in oil, or this is covered in salt. No, that's not the life I want to live. So I make my choice. I just thoroughly enjoy it. I have it, wash it down with a bit of alcohol. Let's be honest. And I enjoy my time out. But then the day before, the next day, the next meal, best choice I can possibly make. Because I don't, the way that I eat when I go out for that meal, I'm not eating like that every day. I'm not eating like that at every meal. I'm not eating like that once a week. So I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. It's a lifestyle because the minute I start thinking, I can't have this, I can't have that, and I start fretting about the points, that's a diet. That's a diet for me. May not be for you, but that's a diet for me. And I'm not on a diet. I'm living a healthy lifestyle. So that's how I deal with eating out. Just go and enjoy it. Yeah. But I don't have takeaways. And it's not that I wouldn't have a takeaway. It's just not something that if I'm at home, I'm going to cook, or I'm going to have something that I've already cooked in the freezer. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just me. That's just me. Okay. So that was that question. Next question. Do you avoid any foods to lose weight? Yes, I do. I'm going to be honest. I do. I do. I am trying. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to avoid the crap. And if you've seen any of my lives before, you know I'm not being facetious. I'm trying to avoid the crap. And let me tell you, there's a ton of crap out there. So what is crap? Crap is an acronym, and the C stands for all those carbonated drinks, all those fizzes, all those low sugar, low cal, no sugar, all of that carbonated, coloured drinks. I'm trying to avoid that. I am trying. I'm not saying I never have them. In fact, I've got a can of Pepsi Max in my cupboard downstairs, because that's for when I have me whiskey or rum. I do like a rum and coke or whiskey and coke. So I'm trying to avoid them, but I don't. Back in the day, I used to have bottles of the stuff. I used to have like 2-3 cans a day. Used to live off that stuff. I had Pepsi Max running through my veins. And, some people enjoy that. Go for it. Go for it. As I always say, what I share here, it is for entertainment. I'm not giving any advice. I'm not casting and the aspersions. This is what works for me, and what works for me will be different for you. So that's absolutely fine. So I avoid the crap, reduce it. And I can honestly say I will only drink Pepsi or Coke or anything like that. One, if I go out and I'm not drinking alcohol, or two, if I'm going to have alcohol and I'm going to have it with my rum or my Coke. So I've reduced that out of my daily life by about 95%. So I avoid that. I also avoid the other part of crap is the R, which is the refined sugars. Okay, Jackie, no problem. Yeah, just watch the live stream back whenever you're ready, my lovely. But thanks for being with you. Enjoy the rest of your day, my lovely. I try and reduce the amount of refined sugars. And again, I'm not saying I never have that, but I try and avoid those. So it's things like things with like the white bread, the white pasta, the white flour, although I do use white flour, but just trying to reduce a lot of those refined products. Trying to reduce like the biscuits and the crisps, although I've done really well to reduce the biscuits. I don't have many biscuits, but I do still have my battle with crisps, and crisps will always be part of me. I do enjoy them, but I've reduced a lot of those things. The A is the additive sugars. So I don't have sweetener, and I'm not here to say whether sweetener we should or shouldn't have. Some people like sweeteners, some people prefer sweeteners. Go for it if that's you. Not me. Not having sweeteners, not having them. So I try and avoid products with sweeteners, but also like you get those bars, those sweet treats, those bars, and you look and it's just got sorbitol and aspartame in and all of those sweetness. No, not putting that in my body. No, no, absolutely not. I would rather have a Mars bar or a marathon bar, and I know that they are stacked to the rafters with sugar, but I would rather have that than like a two-pointed skinny bar that's just got like chemicals and crap in, and that's just a personal choice. That's just me. So that's the A, the additives, and then the P, the processed foods. I'm trying really hard to reduce that processed foods. So I'm trying hard to cook from scratch. But also even within that, I go for whole chicken, whole meat, whole fish. I used to have a lot of things like ham, those cured meats, things like that. I try and avoid those. So I'm trying to eat clean. And I can honestly say that maybe in the last 2 or 3 years, when I really started to understand that, I've probably reduced the crap by about a good 80, 85%. And it's still a work in progress for me. But I'm reducing that. So, and I know that on the Weight Watchers plan, nothing is off limits. And I get that. I understand that. And I think that that works for so many people because it's not prescriptive. But for me, I've been on the journey to say, actually, for me, I don't want that wide a berth. I don't want that. So I have gone and I've explored the foods that work for me and my body, not just to lose weight, but to improve my health. So I have a narrower selection of foods, and that has helped to nourish my body and has helped me to lose weight. So yeah, there's some things I just won't touch. You couldn't pay me to eat some stuff on the market. Couldn't pay me. But that's just me, and that is my choices, and we all make a choice. So the question was, are there any foods that you avoid to lose weight? So there's foods that I avoid to improve my health. more so than thinking I'm going to avoid this food to lose weight. Because I think that if I started to take that mindset of I'm going to avoid this food to lose weight, then when my mindset isn't as strong, those foods are going to creep back in. So, for example, if I said I'm not gonna eat a steak and kidney pie again because it's 14 points, and I'm gonna reduce that or stop that, I'm gonna avoid that to lose weight. Then when I have a moment like I did the other week and I was feeling really down because my poor cat was ill, what happens? The house of cards collapse because I want something to soothe me and to make me feel better. So then I'm now not going to just have one pie. I'm going to have the pie and the chips and the fish and the curry sauce and the can of ginger beer. So, yeah, so I think the avoiding foods to lose weight is very different to avoiding foods to improve health. So I go for health rather than weight. And then as a result, I lose weight anyway. The weight comes off. But great question. Really, really good question. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're with me on this live, I am doing part 2 of a Q&A. So I asked in my Facebook group a couple of months ago, well, I say a couple of months ago, it is a couple of months ago, back in December, for any questions that you would like to ask me as part of a Q&A. And I was inundated with absolutely loads and loads of questions. So we started part 1 yesterday. Today is part 2. And I think I'm probably going to do a part 3 or even a part 4 as well. So if you've got any questions that you would like you'd like to ask me, then feel free to pop it in the chat box here, or reach out to me on Facebook, in my Facebook group, which is Time Out with Angela in brackets group, or my Facebook page, which is Time Out with Angela, or on Instagram at Time Out with Angela. And just send me a message and I will add it to my very long list of questions. It goes over the page as well. It goes over here as well. I've got loads of questions. So thank you so much for those. If you missed my part 1, you will find it on the channel in the live section, and it is entitled Q&A part 1, and this is being labeled part 2. Okay, let me just have a little sip. Oh, that was a gulp. That was a big old gulp because I was thirsty. I was really thirsty. Okay, so next question. Because my weight loss has been slow, how do I keep motivated? So this links back into the question I answered nearer the top of this live, which was about motivation. I had the question, how do you keep motivated? So go back and listen to this live if you want to know the answer to that. Check that out. But also I have a video and a live on my channel all about motivation. So do check that out. But I do. Oh, you got to go now, Horatio. Yeah, that's fine. No problem. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your day, my lovely. See you soon. So yeah, do go back and watch the earlier part of this, and also the live and the video that you will see on my channel all about motivation. But the short answer is, I don't rely on motivation, don't rely on willpower. Consistency, but first commitment. I'm committed to me and my health and my goals, and then I'm consistent in following through with that. Okay, so that will answer that one. Next question. How do you manage weekends? Oh, I can't read me. and going out. How do you manage weekends and going out? Again, another fantastic question. I manage, so I think this is two parts. Weekends to me, because I work from home and I spend a lot of time in my home, I love being at home. My favorite place in the world. Love it. I work from home in the week, and at weekends I'm happy to be at home. Yeah, I'm a homebody. Never used to be, but I'm complete homebody. So for me, it's just another day. It's another day. I have those habits. My life doesn't change that much um, in the week to in the weekends to holidays, bank holidays, unless, of course, I'm going away. So there isn't much change there for me. But because of my habits, it doesn't make a difference. So in the week, on the weekends, I get up, I will still have my first meal at about 11 o'clock, 11:30. That doesn't change whether it's the weekend or a bank holiday. Doesn't make a difference because that's my lifestyle. And I think that's the key. When you have a habit that is a lifestyle, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing. That's just your lifestyle. It's like every day, every single day, I get up, I check my phone, and then I get ready, brush my teeth, get cleaned, get ready. It doesn't matter whether it's the bank holiday, Christmas Day, my birthday, the weekend, doesn't matter. Those habits are still the same. So, yeah, I think when you have a lifestyle and you've built a lifestyle, that'll change. And even if I go away for the weekend, that habit is still going to happen. Still going to get up, still going to check my phone, still going to get washed and cleaned, still going to brush my teeth, still going to get dressed. Even if I'm having a duvet day, I'm going to still do that and get back in some clean pajamas. Still going to feed the cats. So, yeah, for me, it doesn't matter whether it's the weekend or not, those habits are there. If I go out, now that might vary. That might vary. So if I go out, like when I answered that question a few minutes ago about eating out, eating out, same thing. I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy my meals. I'm gonna have what I want. I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna live my life without worrying about how many points is this, how many calories is in this. Is this gonna make me fat? Is this gonna help me lose weight? Is this gonna help me have a good week? Don't think about those things. Life's too short for me. I just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yeah, no anxiety, no weight loss anxiety. Sometimes in the community, there is just so much anxiety about weight loss. So much anxiety. But I think that reduces over time. I think over time, when you're learning about yourself, about what healthy habits are, and you put those habits in place and it becomes that lifestyle, it becomes less of a, yeah, for me it does anyway, it becomes less of an issue. Okay, so there we go. There's that one answered. I've still got a load more. But I've been going for an hour and 10 minutes now, guys. An hour and 10 minutes. I'm back at work at 1 o'clock. So I think for today, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you found those questions of value. So if you do have any more questions, and just send them to me, send them via Facebook, pop them in the chat box, in the comment box. and I'll pick them up because we're definitely going to do a part 3. Most definitely. I've still got a load here. It's definitely going to be a part 3. But I hope you're enjoying these Q&As. I'm really pleased that I ask for your questions. But keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. So yeah, so I'm going to park it here for today. And I'm going to go and get something to eat. It's 12:30. I need to have my first meal of the day. And then I'm back at work at 1 o'clock. And I might come back on and do some more. If not, it'll be tomorrow. But yeah. Anyway, what are you up to today? Whatever you're doing, I hope you have a wonderful day. Guys, all I ask is that you give this video, this live, a thumbs up. If you could do that, that would make a massive difference to me, because it just shows YouTube that the YouTube algorithm that you've enjoyed it. So if you could give it a thumbs up at whatever point you're watching it, I would really be grateful. And also, if you can leave a comment in the comment section, that would be really, really handy. Even if you just said hello, or thanks for the video, something like that, or just put I'm subscribed. That would really, really help as well. It helps the algorithm. And there's one other way that you could really help me, guys, is by watching another video or another live stream. And if you could just let it run right to the end and maybe just listen in, that would really help me, because it just builds my watch time. And we are on the road. We're on the road to 4,000 watch hours, and we're just over halfway. So I would really appreciate it if you could watch another video, because that would really, really help. And yeah, just watch it all the way to the end. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.